Hey guys, so before we get into the video, I actually wanted to share that I will be commentating the Dragon Rider Championship Series coming up this January 8th and 9th. This is the 5th Dragon Rider Championship Series. It's going to be a big tournament with cash prizing hosted by Dragon Rider Games. So if you want to check that out, it's available to play for anyone. It's just online through Dueling Book. You can look at the links in the description. I'm actually really excited because I'm going to be able to be commentating this with a couple of awesome YouTubers, TCG Tally, Barracks Bear, and Golden Nova Yu-Gi-Oh! Their links will also be in the description. I think it's going to be a banger of a tournament, so if you want to watch, I'll be streaming it on my Twitch and YouTube. If you want to play, again, check out Dragon Rider Games. They host a lot of really good tournaments, and this is going to be a big one. It's going to be right before Pasadena. The Grand Creators is going to be legal. I think it's going to be a banger of an event. I'm really excited to commentate it, and I hope to see you guys there. Hey guys, it is Yishan here. I'm coming to you guys with a Pure Lyrilusc Deck Profile, the most consistent way to play Lyrilusc in my opinion. I went to a Remote Duel Regional, took this deck there. Didn't do that well, honestly, but I think there's actually a lot to learn from that. I think there's actually value in doing like reports about events where you didn't do as well. So I'm going to go through the deck profile, give you my thoughts, do a quick tournament report. Should be a lot of good information in this one, so you definitely want to stick around and check it out, especially if you're interested in Lyrilusc. We'll just start off with the main deck first. Now, I am a big believer in playing 3 of every single bird. Okay, if you're a Lyrilusc player, I'm probably not going to explain what all these birds do, but I believe in playing 3 of every single one of them. I could go, try to explain you the details of all these birds, how to use them. But basically, if you're playing Pure Lyrilusc, in my opinion, you want to max out on all the birds. And it's just the most consistent. Every single bird is good in Pure Lyrilusc. Sapphire Swallow, a lot of times I see less of this. Do not play less than 3. It's just so important in the pure bird deck, and I'll sort of explain why, but I usually just max on everything because the reason for playing Pure Lyrilusc is all about consistency, and the best consistency you're going to get is maxing out on all the birds. So in my opinion, you should max out on all the birds. That's my opinion. I've never been dissatisfied. In fact, if anything, I would want more birds, but I've always been satisfied with 3 of each. So if you're not playing 3 of each in Pure, I think you're a little bit mistaken. I played 2 DD Crow for the event. Now, this is a little weird because you don't actually need to have 2 in your deck. You only need 1, but I don't have Forbidden Droplets right now. And I wanted some extra hand traps, and there were times in testing where I wanted a second DD Crow. We got all these Destroy Phoenix Enforcers, just so many decks, and just it's so easy to search this card in this deck. That I wanted to play 2. I was happy with 2. In fact, the couple times I sat it out 1, I missed it. I kind of regretted it. So I think 2 is fine, but you only need to play 1. I would definitely at least play 1 though. But 2 is probably, it was fine for the event. But you could play 1. 3 Bird Call. This card is just the best. So I don't know what to say. It's so broken. I use all the effects, more than, all the time. So yeah, there's that. It's just so broken. Now, here's where my deck diverges. I play triple Where Art Thou? Okay. Now, I don't see a lot of Pure Lyrilusc lists doing this, and I honestly do not understand why this card is just so good. And it's especially good with Sapphire Swallow because a lot of times you have 2 birds, and you either need the Sapphire Swallow or you need a bird, one of the searching birds like the Celeste or the Cobalt Sparrow. So this card is just so good. Honestly, the problem with this card is remembering the 2000 life damage. I need to make a little card that I can put on my mat when I activate this card so I don't forget that I need to take 2000. It's not that taking 2000 has cost in me. It's just, sometimes I just forget and I don't want to cheat my opponents. So yeah, but this card is totally worth it. You want to max out on consistency. This card is not once per turn. Right, it's just so good, and there are so many ways to get to your end board of Utopic Future with the Bouncer Guy and DD Crow, Lyrilusc Ensemble Robin, that you should just max out on this card. It searches anything, right? And there's you get what you want. You get what you want. You don't have to play Jack in the hand and be like, okay, I might not get what I want. That being said, I'm a big believer that if you're going to play this deck, you should be as consistent as possible. I played double Jack in the hand. I was playing 3 earlier. I cut 1 for DD Crow because I didn't have droplets. This card is fine. Like, it's not that great past turn 1 because you already have everything. All these cards, Wear Off Thou is not that great after turn 1 as well. But you just need that consistency. I was never, ever disappointed when I saw this card in my opening hand, ever. Basically, you just need to get, like, it doesn't matter which bird your opponent picks, honestly. It's fine. But this is once per turn, which is why I only played 2 of it. That's why I cut this one. I think Wear Off Thou is slightly better. But yeah, I totally believe in max consistency. You can side one of these out, but like I totally believe in max consistency because that's sort of the advantage of playing the Lyrilusc deck. I played 1 1-for-1 and 1 Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion, definitely playing this deck. We get to play the Lyrilusc, I forget what it's called, Assemble Nightingale, Independent Nightingale. It's just the best extender for the deck. I used it a couple times, and every time I used this card, I was happy with it. Never once disappointed with Instant Fusion. 1-for-1's like not as good past turn 1, but just the fact that it's just so flexible. So there's that. I played 2 Desires. Why did I play 2 Desires? Well, I'm not playing droplets, and the Desires actually does hurt the grind game a bit. Not that I'm saying like it hurts that much, but like one time I banished 3 Sapphire Souls, which was kind of sad. That's just variance. In testing, I never ever banished 3. I mean, you're gonna banish 3 sometimes. It's just how it is. But yeah, I was sort of wanted to see if I could Desires into like a Chalice or an Imperm. That's I probably could have searched my deck a little bit more first. But yeah, I'm happy with this card. The problem is I just not running droplets, so like extra Desires are just dead cardboard. There's no good way to use like random pieces of cards that are dead. Like there's no discarding in this deck, you know. So the best you can do is probably like set it for a bluff. So that's why I ran 2. I ran 2 Triple Tactics. Every time I drew this card, I was happy. Maybe I should play 3. The reason I only ran 2 is just because I felt like the take method is one of the best on Triple Tactics, but I wasn't running a generic Link 2, which might have been a mistake on my part, honestly. Like, maybe I should just run a generic Link 2 and play 3 of this card, because every time I saw this card, I was pretty happy with it. So, honestly, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I should play more Tactics. It's hard to say. And then I played Triple Chalice. This card, it was just so good all day. I think Lyrilusc, one of the big problems of the deck is, you know, it has trouble outing stuff that your opponent controls, and Chalice does this. I was happy with this card all day. I played 1 Call by the Grave. I think maybe I drew it once or twice. I was happy with it. 1 Monster Reborn. This card is interesting. This is like an extender, but doesn't help you start. I never really felt like I used this card that well. So I could cut it. I could see it being cut for droplets, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. This card's not good. Lyrilusc Bird Sanctuary. I tested this card a lot. I really wanted it to be good. I really did. It's not. So basically what this card does, for those of you that don't know, is if you control an Xyz monster with 3 or more materials, you draw a card. That's the most important effect. And I figured, okay, well, there are a lot of combos where I would use Bird Call and I would want to search a spell and trap, and I didn't want to search Bird Call again because I had enough Lyriluscs. So I was like, oh, I'll play Bird Sanctuary because, you know, it's like a free draw. I could draw into something good. It's just, the problem is like, this card only trades 1-for-1. So honestly, searching another Bird Call is not terrible. But like it only trades 1-for-1. And if you're going to get the second draw off of it, like this, like another turn, you're going to draw it. You're already winning the game anyway. Like I don't see how you're losing. So I really just was not happy with this card. I mean, it's fine. Like I never even bricked on it and I wasn't happy. So what would I play instead? One card that I've actually been thinking about is Raigeki. Okay, this is not, don't turn away. Okay. I know I just suggested Raigeki. It's a little crazy, but one of the main weaknesses of this deck is that to out big monsters your opponent controls, you have to attack first and summon Zeus. It's so annoying, right? It's like it sucks that you're forced into that line. I think actually Raigeki would solve a lot of this deck's problems. It seemed like it would be always good. One of this deck's main weaknesses, in addition to not being able to out monsters, so like for example, the Tri-Brigade engine gives you Shreg, which lets you out big monsters before attacking, is, you know, and it lets you banish them as well, is like, you know, Nibiru as well. I feel like the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc deck just handles Nibiru better. If you open Warbler Fractal or Warbler with the and basically if you open your good combo, it's Nibiru is effective but not like backbreaking. Like this deck, it really hurts to get Nibiru, and there's not much you can do about it. So that's sort of my opinion on that matter. I got Nibiru so much at the tournament, at the regional. So yeah, I think Raigeki might actually be good. I know I spent a lot of time on Bird Sanctuary, probably more than I needed to, but I think actually Raigeki might be good. So test it out. I don't know. I kind of want to just play Raigeki because it seems like it would be so cool to have in your deck, but I actually think Raigeki might be good. So that's just a thought I had. And then Triple Imperm. I mean, I was happy with this card all day. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan. So this card's just great. But yeah, so maybe try out Raigeki for me. I think Dropless is good. Let's go side deck, because there's this card that's staring at me, Nibiru. I would almost play Dark Ruler no more. Nibiru is just better, honestly. Even the fact that it conflicts a little bit with Warbler, like this card is just so effective, because like there were times like I would get Nibiru, I would maybe end on Ensemble and I would have a Nibiru, and I would Nibiru them back and then win. Like this card seems so good. And one of the problems with this deck is this card is running around everywhere. So like it hurts this deck. My opponents just Nibiru. I got Nibiru so many times yesterday. Or not yesterday, but anyway, the point is that I think this card is better than Dark Ruler no more. It lets you interact on your opponent's turn, which is the most important thing. Not just the first turn, right? So there's that. Droll and Lockbird, I drew it once against my Lyrilusc Dry Brigade opponent, and he bricked anyway, so honestly don't think it did that much, but in theory this card should be good. You can also search it with Where Art Thou, so there's that. Pancratops, I'm trying to remember if I drew this. It would have been nice if I drew this. This card's just good going second, so I would run it. Yeah, this card's just great. It solves one of the problems. It beats over stuff for you, so I think it's good. But yeah, okay, Triple Lightning Storm. Twin Twister is fine. I just think like funny story. In my tournament, I drew, like, I knew that one of the issues with Lightning Storm would maybe be Bird Sanctuary, right? So I just figured, well, I won't search Bird Sanctuary if I have Lightning Storm in my hand. I was playing in Striker. So, but I didn't have Lightning Storm in my hand. So, I'll search Bird Sanctuary, no problem. I go Bird Sanctuary, effective draw, I draw a Lightning Storm, and then my opponent didn't even get rid of my Bird Sanctuary, so I couldn't Lightning Storm. Lost the game because of that, honestly. That was sad. Yeah, that was sad. But, I think it's good. You can play Twin Twister, though. This deck doesn't mind the discard. So, and then I also play the Harpy's Feather in the red reboot. Honestly, maybe I should have cited this in once. I got Dimensional Barriered. That card is just a house against this deck. But yeah, so I think these are fine. I just didn't draw them. And then Triple Harpy's Feather Storm. I just didn't draw this card as well. I mean, I cited it a couple of times where I thought it would be good. And I just didn't draw it. So yeah, it happens, right? That's just Yu-Gi-Oh! So it is what it is. Okay, extra deck. Maybe there's a couple things I would change. Triple Recital Starling. This I would not change. The only card I could see maybe cutting down are these two, Ensemble and Assembled. I never used two Ensemble. It's very rare that you use two. And same with a Nightingale unless you're in the grind game. The Nightingale I might use more in the grind game for the double Zeus. So maybe Ensemble could go to 1 and I could play a Link 2 and play more tactics. That's definitely a possibility. But yeah, Ensemble is the only one I didn't use 2 of, even though there's actually a time where I should have used 2 of it, but I'll talk about that in the matchup discussion. 1 Promenade Thrush. This card actually, I used it a decent amount, actually. Like, this card's not bad. I use it a decent amount, so it's good to have an extra deck. I would run it. It's good. And then I played Double Zeus just because, yeah, you want to run 2. It comes up all the time. And then I play the Downard. It comes up all the time. And even if you're not getting an extra send-off Zeus, I still summon it anyway because a lot of times, like, I won't have follow-up either, so my follow-up will just be another Zeus to get an extra send. So yeah, Downard, summoned it a lot. Utopic Future package, summoned it a lot. Yeah, this is one of the reasons that it's good. Love that this card can't be destroyed by battle card effects. Kind of insane. And I just discovered a new play. If you have like 1 extender, after you get nibbed, you can use Barrel Canary to summon back an Xyz. Normal summon, make another rank 1, and then use those 2 to make Utopic Future. Just so, because that one can't be hit by, like, it can't be attacked by Nibiru. So there's a play. And then the 1 instant fusion target, just broken. Not broken, but like, it's just good. Like, I would run it again. It's one of the main things. And then 1 Anima. I actually should probably like pay more attention to where my opponent Nibiru is, because sometimes they Nibiru and they put it in like the zone that Anima lines up in, and I could just Anima and then end on Ensemble, and like I would be totally okay with that board. But yeah, like this card, I just felt like it had a higher upside than Almirage. Like there could be situations where I need to get rid of something my opponent controls and they put it in the wrong zone. I just forgot about it more often than my opponent did. So I really need to think about this card more. But I think it's something that if I get better with this deck, and it'll be something I'm always thinking about. So yeah, Anima, totally worth it. Would recommend. I don't really think Almirage does that much for the deck. I don't think Linkrivo does that much for the deck. Anima has a very high upside of maybe being able to steal a game. And to me, that seems worth it. Yeah, because yeah, a lot of their stuff can't be targeted already anyway. So like, yeah, there's that. Okay, so that is the entire deck profile. Let's go through the event. So round one, I played against Tenny Sword Soul, and I just drew like I literally just drew Imperm and Chalice. So I mean, like literally I went second, but I opened these two and it opened good hands. So that was unfortunate for him, and I think he might have bricked a little bit game two, even though I got nibbed. And then match two, I played against Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade. I think I won the dice roll on this one, so just the Utopic Future Draco plus the bounce board is pretty good if they don't have like a blowout card for like a droplet or something. So that, and then he bricked game two. So nothing too interesting in those matches. Game three, I played against Sky Striker. He won the dice roll, open engage, and I actually thought I played really well. I was going to set up a point where I was going to clear all his back row with the Promade Thrush. I played through like Imperm, Veiler, and there was a Widow Anchor, and I was like, I'm playing through all of it, no problem. And I'm ready to, get my Utopic Future Draco and maybe even a Zeus down to like stop his Ray, and I'm feeling really good. And then I get nibbed game one, and I was like, damn. And then game two, I got nibbed again. But I felt like, and then that game I could have won. I had the Lightning Storm thing where I did the I did this and drew Lightning Storm, and I could have probably OTK'd like the next turn after I just Lightning Stormed his back row, and then just huge Assembled Nightingale, but I couldn't activate it. It was really annoying actually. They needed DP, but yeah, so it is what it is. I lost that one. I felt like I didn't really misplay in that one, but the misplay started happening later in the tournament, I think. Round four, I played against I think it was another Tenny Sword Soul, but I can't exactly remember. I won this one. Yeah, and then or maybe it was, I played against Phantom Knights as well. Lost a dice roll. He didn't open that often overhand. He opened like double Fogblade, but he had like Appaloosa, and I just didn't draw my Chalice or my Imperm, and I went to go Desires. That I remember that game because I went to Desires. I was like, okay, if I Desires, get a Chalice or an Imperm, I might have a good shot here. But I Desires into another Desires and banished 3 Sapphire Swallows. So that was like a rip, right? Yeah, that was sad. And then I lost that game, but I kind of dragged it out. And then game two, I won, but we were already in like time, so that was a draw. And then my final round, I won another one, maybe against Tenny Sword Soul after that. My final round, I played against Invoked Dogmatica. I won game one because he bricked. I was like, oh, I'm feeling good. Game two, I got de-barriered, and I feel like I misplayed. So I had this moment where he de-barriered me, right? So I knew that he had a Almirage engraved, and I honestly probably should have just DD crowed the Almirage right away. I think I actually misplayed too. I thought I had a really good hand. I had like Lightning Storm, Chalice, plus good birds, right? I think I might have chaliced the mecha buff first for some reason. I have no idea why. I should have Lightning Stormed, and then if he tries to negate, then I chalice. There's really no reason to chalice early. I have no idea why I did that, honestly. If I even did do that, but I know I used the Chalice on the first turn. I just did not expect a Dimensional Barrier. That card really hurt me. I probably should have tried to set up a DD Crow, just DD Crow the Almirage, because he didn't have like that much firepower in his hand. Maybe I would have survived the next turn. I'm not actually sure, but maybe that was that. Game three was pretty close. I got nibbed again. Yeah, I got nibbed, but I was able to end on Utopic Future Draco. I think I might have misplayed on the turn was passed back to me. I maybe should have attacked his Mecha Bug because I knew he had a set Imperm. So I had the Barrel Canary in my hand, right, for follow-up, and I was like, okay, I'll go Barrel Canary. And then he's going to go Mecha Bug negate. I will go Utopic Future negate, and then but then he negated with Imperm. And I knew he had that Imperm. I was so dumb because I saw him add it off Pot of Prosperity. So if I attack first, maybe I force out Alistair. If I negate the Alistair, I force out another Mechaba negate. I don't really care about the Imperm, right? Like, the Imperm can't stop Barrel Canary. So I should have probably done something like that. If he wants to Alistair, like, hit me, like, then I get the Alistair from his hand as well. I can, like, make Zeus first to bait out the Imperm with my Utopia Future Draco. I don't know. It was a pretty terrible play on my part. I wanted OTK. I should have just attacked first into his Mechaba. So that was maybe my mistake. And then and since I attacked, I can also Zeus anyway because the Utopic Future is an Exceed. Oh my god, just a lot of misplays. And then the game dragged on really, really long. And I probably misplayed again because he had a time where he activated Dogmatica Maximus, and I didn't have it because I didn't use the first Ensemble Robin because I got nibbed. I only sent one of these. I should have sent both of them because apparently neither of its effects are once per turn. I just assumed the add back was once per turn to stop some crazy loop, but it's not. I could have sent both of these and added back 2 Lyrilusc because past the first turn, this card is not as good. And that probably would have made a big difference if I added 2 Lyriluscs back instead of 1. That could have made a huge difference. So I don't know. It's silly, and then I misplayed like time because I activated Wear Off Thou, but I forgot to take the damage. But then we remembered later my opponent, and I was like, oh shoot, I misplayed all of this now because now I thought I had time and now I don't. But it is what it is. This deck's pretty complicated. But yeah, that was sort of the tournament report. Those are my thoughts. Yeah, Nib is everywhere. That's biggest weakness. Hard to out stuff. I would try Raigeki. Honestly, I would try Raigeki with droplets in this deck. Yeah, and maybe play a Link 2. You could cut one of these for maybe a generic Link 2, but there's no good generic Link 2, unfortunately. I just, like, what am I going to make? Like, does it matter? No idea. Is there a generic Link 2 out there? Maybe you guys can think of something, because I can't. So, let me know. Let me know if you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck, but I hope it was instructive, hopefully. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing this deck. I want to play it again, but I know I also want to test out the Small World Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade deck. So I don't know if I'll get to play this again in like another big event, but for now, my local tournaments until my Dinotherium comes in, I'll test this deck more. I know there are probably a lot of people that enjoy Pure Lyrilusc, so let me know what you guys' thoughts. If you've felt the same thing, any text that I sort of missed. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a lot of fun to make, talking to you guys. And make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.